Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, God, I got a little scared there for a minute. Okay. We thank you all for your unwavering patience and help. We couldn't have done it without you all. On to Election Day. Election Day went very smoothly, and Mark and I feel that it probably is partially due to how many voters came out for early voting, which was about half of all the votes that were cast. 181 same-day registrations had to be handled according to law in only one polling place in each town. So it was quite a burden for Mark working at that polling place. We had 22 poll workers at each location, and all were very busy throughout the day. In addition to regular poll workers, everyone is used to seeing in the polls, the people in this room and at the annex. There was an invisible bunch of elves in the other room that were handling all those early ballots and the absentee ballots. They had to open the envelopes. They had to verify them against the checklist of the voters. It was a lot of work. It lasted, I don't know, I think in Warehouse Point, how long did it last, Mark?
It was a few hours.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
that's,
It was until around 6:30, I think, our way.
and
It was-
our workers were, they all came into count. We added people because of the volume.
So that in itself, that's 44
Plus.
plus people that were just election day workers as well.
Denise, we have to make sure, we always make sure that we have a balance of parties represented.
Yeah.
Have all Republicans or all Democrats in there. That was a challenge
That was
too.
a trick as well.
Yeah.
So now we're on to post-election and we're ready for a long nap. The Secretary of State's office has asked all registrars to give feedback on how early voting and same-day registration can be improved. We're following up on that and getting prepared for January through June, the canvas process that helps us keep the registration of voters current. The norm is supposed to be that after 4 years of being inactive, that you can get off the voters list, but that's really, a little too tight, we think, because that would just take that they missed one presidential election. So if we go 6 years, we'll still be, I'm sure, cleaning up quite a bit of stuff. So we welcome any questions.
What is the state mandate, do you know?
They don't mandate, they recommend.
Oh.
So if you have any questions, comments, suggestions on ways to improve what we do, and Mark, did you have anything to
Yeah,
add?
I just wanted to thank Karen Goodrow and Angelo Severino, get us pushed off on the right foot. And they helped us get started, but there was a lot of learning to do. And quickly you learn that you don't have to know what you're doing as long as you look good doing it. We played that a little, but we had a lot of valuable, Marie, that lady sitting back there. They were fabulous. And the police department you mentioned, the chief came in and talked to us about security problems and gave us access to his people. They were there for us, and we appreciate that, And when we had our moderators meeting or our meeting beforehand, we mentioned that it made everybody feel secure and safe. So thank you for that. And treasurer's office put up with our
Dumbness.
she's gone, right? Put up with us for a while. Town clerk, is Amy still here?
No, she left.
She left. She was a valuable asset. And the poll workers that we had, tremendous.
We really had.
Yeah, I had one gentleman who took off 2 weeks from his regular job to work with, took the time, got permission, and he said, call me anytime. So, and that, like, we're looking for poll workers. So if you can tell your family and your friends, yourselves, if you can venture to maybe take the moderator's test and become a certified moderator. That would help us tremendously. We need moderators
Very badly.
very badly. And we need, with early voting and the number of days there, the question passed. That question on the ballot, so the
Yes.
legislature, correct me if I'm wrong, they have a mission to improve or make changes to the early voting process.
No,
No, it's absentee ballot.
Oh, absentee ballot.
It's gonna be discussed by the legislature
Yeah.
that there would be no excuse absentees.
But early voting is not going away.
It's not going away. The Secretary of State actually said, she was asked at a conference that we were at if early voting might go away if no excuse absentee went in place. And she said, there are people that are adamant that they want to put their ballot in the machine and they want to do it in person, and they will go early rather than absentee, no matter what. So it's here to stay, but I think it'll change.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't, Mother's Day is not a good day to hire poll workers.
And we're working on that problem. That's parochial to
Oh, it
us.
is.
We are working on that.
Well, I thought it was mandated by the state.
It is, except that's because we have the election of the fire commissioners for the budget referendum. We're working.
Oh, that was,
Going to be working.
that was that one?
Yeah,
All right.
we can address that particular one, but the other ones, the summer one and I mean, who thinks it's a good idea to be open until 8 o'clock on Halloween? Like,
Yeah,
Not me.
it's your birthday.
that's our birthday.
Um,
And Denise's mom is still around, and she
Yeah.
getting elderly, and it just, don't do it on Mother's Day again. But that really got me going. Right?
Yeah, and it was Easter week as
Easter
well. They just
So we
need to
did-
be
we
a
did a
little
lot.
more
A
practical.
lot of weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth going on. But I just want to mention too, maybe this body here can address this at a later time for a town meeting. But we have the annex and we share it with you. We have to accommodate everybody that uses that big room. And there were some complaints about the size of the room. That's the only option we have for early voting, really, because it's 16 days, really. We have to prep for voting. And I always go to Melissa and say, we're going to be here. And they're very gracious and let us use their, well, we need better accommodations at some point. And I was told that maybe Scout Hall or something when that's expanded or something.
Well, that's my idea.
Oh, your idea. I thought you had a hard on. Okay. Okay.
we'll have that conversation down there.
I'm
I
sorry.
wouldn't hold your breath on that one.
All right.
Oh.
Okay. Well, we do need some patience or something, and because we had a lady from Suffield come in and give us a little class on do our job, and she couldn't find the office. She said she was lost,
The electronic signs will help with that.
Yeah, yes, that would be nice. Something like maybe sticks out from the top of the door even, because we have, people don't see it before they come up on it, so.
Yeah.
But that's all I have. And it's just thank everybody for your cooperation with us, and especially for the people that helped us, Carol and the few of the poll workers. I don't want to miss it. There was nice, very nice.
We had some that couldn't make it one day, and all we had to do was call
Yes.
another person,
Yes.
and they were in within like 15 minutes.
Couple just showed up and said, "Do you need me?"
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So we were really
Yeah.
fortunate. We built a good, solid base of people going
Yeah.
forward.
So thank you all for your time.
Do y'all have any questions?
Just, I'm not sure if the information is available yet or if you've had a chance to dig into it yet, but the advent of early voting, how did that affect voter turnout?
Statewide
Yeah,
or?
statewide. I mean, here you said it was actually a little low.
It was, yeah. it was
Remember
a little low, yeah.
2020?
Yeah,
The lines.
Yeah, it was-
we stood out on Reservoir Avenue.
but I mean, statewide, if they're looking at adjusting early voting, can somebody make the argument that early voting was a success in terms of encouraging people to participate? Or was it just the same number of people everywhere?
Spread out.
Because
Yeah.
that seems like a waste of money, like a lot of money.
Yeah. it's a lot of
Jason,
money.
we had that 4 days of early voting for the special election. How many people do you think showed up to early vote?
Did you get any?
0.
Yeah.
And we said, hey, you have to hire 5 people to work. Oh, you have to.
But I think that input could get back to the state saying that,
Yeah.
maybe one day for that.
Yeah,
Where it was
exactly.
3 days, make it one day, where it was 5 days, make it 3 days, and where it's 14 days, make it 10 days.
Yeah.
That should be sufficient to meet their standard.
Yes,
because it's a cost to the town if nobody
Yes.
shows up.
Well, I
mean,
think, yeah, I think the town
That's
needs to
unfortunate.
also weigh in with our legislators, just saying the cost is enormous and we were extremely cautious with what we were spending. You
Yeah.
know, we got
Denise
sandwiches.
was making sandwiches at home and bringing them.
Well, that's not true.
Oh, good. You know,
I mean, I'm glad for the early voting. The turnout for this election was low, 60%. Should have been 80%. I mean, that reflects more about us in the community, but nobody should stand in line for like 30 minutes or an hour on election day. And people shouldn't have to worry about running there and not being able to vote because they're running out of time to go to work. So, I mean, it makes it possible for people to go when they can, when they're off from work or when they can work around their schedules. And I just don't, I don't think we should ever go back to people having to wait in line to exercise their right to vote. I'm not talking about waiting in line 5 or 10 minutes. I'm talking about waiting in line an hour. And it used to be not just here locally, but people would wait like blocks to vote. And they still had people waiting blocks to vote in other places around the country. We should never have that. I think we should have it so that, you know, whether we get a 60% turnout or 90% turnout, it's never gonna be 90%. We should be prepared to make it so that people, I mean, this is their community, they pay taxes. And I'm glad to pay for the costs. We had a little bit of a debate and you guys were very cost effective and it worked out, as far as I'm concerned, it worked out fine. Now, I'm not saying you have to have 4 days of early voting for every single thing.
Yeah.
Right?
no.
I'm talking about the major elections
Right.
that we have. We shouldn't be doing referendum early voting. We shouldn't necessarily be doing primary early voting, especially if we know the turnout's gonna be low. But for the regular elections, I'm happy to see that people don't have to wait in line. You get elderly people, you get people that are ill,
Definitely.
invalid, people that are just,
We have curbside voting for those. And
or they turn their car and drive away,
Yep.
the line, and
Yes.
I can't stand in line for an hour. So to me, it's well worth it. And, it was an experiment.
yeah,
Hopefully we can get people to vote, more people to come out and vote by other means. Early voting doesn't seem to be the means to do that.
Mhm.
But now we have to work harder at getting people to vote other ways, and then we can accommodate them with the early voting. That's my opinion.
I agree. The policy of the Secretary of State is, and it's in the directives, you go in, the voting never stops and you have to keep it going. And we instructed our checkers and our greeters to make sure that the line moved with that view, you know, so that's what we try to do. That's our mission.
Right.
Anything else?
No other questions?
Thank you.
Good job to you both.
Thanks.
And I am, because she's back in the room, I am going to echo thanks to Amy for the work that she put in because
Yes, you did.
she went above and beyond. Thank you very much.
She did.
You say, why didn't you call me? If I didn't call for a day, she's worried about it.
I never rolled my eyes. Make-
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you guys because, you know, there was a lot of, I remember we were discussing this, there was a lot of unknowns. You're both new to the job. You did, I think you did a fabulous job.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Obviously did a lot of work, so thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if everybody knows, like, I call the state, a lot of towns, their clerk and their registrars don't get along. Surprise,
I
surprise.
don't know how that happened.
So I think we're all lucky. I feel very lucky to be able to work with both of them and just to have a good team all around to get through elections. It's not easy, time consuming, you're stressed, tired. So when you work around good people, it's easier and, you know, 2 or more brains is better than 1. So I'm just lucky and thankful that we have great registrars.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job to you both.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask, I'm going to ask that we table agenda item 9D until after executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, this next one actually was a request from Amy Lamb. But Christmas is coming up. The charter gives me control over the operations of town buildings. but I would still like the board's feedback on whether it's appropriate to shut down early on Christmas Eve. Any thoughts on that?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
What time would you close, you think?
Probably noon.
Fair.
You know, you're setting a precedent.
We've set the precedent already. I'm living up to it. Okay. Tax refunds.
I'll move to approve the tax refunds totaling $853.81.
Is there a second?
Second. Sorry.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, Selectmen's reports. So first of all, I did a call earlier today. I know the police department and Public Works are messaging this as well, but the state is closing the Route 191 just west of Mahoney Road. That's going to start on Monday and last about 40 days. So the bridge is still going to be accessible. People will still be able to traverse the bridge during this period of time, but you won't be able to continue onto Scantic Road. You'll be detoured down Mahoney Road. And if you're looking to get back to like the Scantic Church or pick your destination, you take Mahoney and then take a left onto Wells. That will last for about 40 days while they do some additional pre-bridge replacement work. This is not the one that's going to take the bridge out of play for a long period of time. That will still happen in April-ish. And that will likely be inaccessible or untraversable for about 7 months. That is not this one. This one is just to do some repair work in the road, but the bridge will still be accessible, but there will be detours from now until probably the first week of the year. So one of the biggest priorities for anybody who comes to Selectmen's meetings or Board of Finance meetings or pays attention to the budget process, one of the biggest priorities in terms of new initiatives in the budget for this fiscal year was in all emergency services live emergency drill. And I want to give Chief Carl and especially Deputy Chief Murphy a lot of credit and congratulations for the good work that they did in putting that drill together. That happened this past Saturday. And there were 3 different scenarios where every member of our police department in alternating shifts and representatives from the Ambulance Association and both fire departments participated. The 3 injects were an active shooter in a school, which is terrifying, a chemical spill in a school, and a stolen car being crashed into a building causing structural damage. It was phenomenal to see them actually drill this out. And I'll just share that with the active shooter inject, from the time the police arrived on scene to within, and they were told that there was an active shooter in the school. What they were not told is that there were 2. It took less than 4 minutes for them to either drop or apprehend both shooters. It was awesome. And the synergy that it was clearly on display between each of the emergency services should leave everybody in this community feeling that we are in very, very good hands. So kudos to you guys and to all of the people who participated. It was fantastic to see. One of probably my favorite moment as first selectman so far, rivaled with the groundbreaking of the community center. That's how exciting I am about it. So a couple of other items of note coming up on December 1st, the police union and community services are going to do their annual Stuff a Cruiser event. This is another really, really good day to be from the town of East Windsor, and they collect a lot of donated items to be given out to disadvantaged children in the community. That's going to be on Sunday, December 1st from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the East Windsor Walmart. Community Services is setting up opportunities to have phone calls from Santa or to get a letter from Santa. So if you have children or grandchildren that are interested in that, I strongly suggest you check out the social media pages and the website for community services departments because there's some really good feel-good stuff in there for kids. That's all coming up right now. On December 21st, the Broadbrook Fire Department will have their annual Torchlight Parade and Carol Sing. That's a Saturday. It'll take place at 5:30, and then everybody can go back to the firehouse and have hot cocoa and cookies and pictures with Santa and sing carols, and it's a really, really fun night. And lastly, Parks and Rec has set up a East Windsor night at the Springfield Thunderbirds, where they're going to be playing the Hartford Wolfpack. That's going to be December 27th, and tickets are $19 each, and it's a 2 for Tuesday event. So it's I think it's $2 beers, $2 hot dogs, and $2 something else. But it's a cheap family fun night out to just have fun together. Those are the items I wanted to highlight for tonight, and I'll turn to Marie.
I was going to report on Park and Rec, but Jason covered most of it. The only thing he left out was save the date for February 22nd, 2025 for the Panther Plunge at East Windsor Park. For those of you that have participated in the past, it's a fun day. Those that haven't, come on out and make a donation because it helps our own people without fuel assistance. So just throw that out there. And they spent some time discussing the capital improvement projects. And I was glad tonight that a lot of the projects that they needed to have done were approved tonight. So it frees up other projects through the CIP program to get done hopefully in the budget. So and Jason covered everything else. Just to bring people up to date on the police department, they just graduated 2 individuals recently, Hunter Peliquin and Dylan Garguglio, I believe is how you say his name. They 28 weeks in the academy, and now they're doing their field training. They just recently promoted Sergeant Derek Lieb to lieutenant. That's all I got for them. Park Hill is looking at their 13 acres, and they've applied for 2 grants. One for the Community Investment Fund to see if they can get funding out of there so that they can start looking at the potential for growth on those 13 acres. And they also did the community development block grant application was submitted. Water Pollution Control Authority is looking at their FCC rate review. And they made a motion last night to raise that rate to $7,000. Public hearing will be set January of 2025. And the last increase for that use was back in 2015. So it averages out to be $50 a year over the last 10 years. I think I got that right. They completed the wet well cleaning at Mill Pond, Perry Lane, Route 5, Mahoney Road, and Newberry Road. The check valve was rebuilt on Scannick Road. And they made a motion last night also to extend the consulting contract until December 31st, 2024 for both Art Enderly and Ed Alabo to continue. And that's all I got.
Oh.
Yeah, so Broadbrook Fire Department had the consultant H2N come and give a presentation on the feasibility study for the new fire department. And it was a pretty in-depth presentation, and they want to get on our agenda and lay it on us as well. I would say that for me, obviously you look at that department and you can see it's, they're busting out at the seams as far as there's just not enough room for what they have there. But more than that, it was really apparent from the presentation that it's just not possible to lay it out in a manner that creates a safe environment for the emergency services people that are there. They need different zones for decontamination. There was a lot of setting up the new space for, really to mitigate the risks of, firefighter cancer and whatnot. Right now, the way they're laid out, basically, they just spread contaminants wherever they go, because there's no way to portion off everything. So there was a lot there about the why, we need to do this. And then they also, went into specifics about the building. They had compared 2 sites. One was the middle school in case that was to become available. And then the other was 2 Reservoir Road. But we'll all be seeing that in depth, I think in December. Well,
Our next meeting.
Yeah. So they'll be giving that to us. But anyway, coming soon, and we'll have to start digging into that. And then secondly, last time I reported that their fire truck would be in December. You guys said August. I double checked it. It's January. So coming up, almost here.
Well, we didn't say which August.
But it's no August.
I would say if it's not in, we start holding payment.
There, it's coming together. It's, all the pieces are in different places. Actually, one piece went down the road to some other factory for what it's gonna get. And now it's gonna come back. It's all getting put together. So, sometime in January, we'll be seeing that truck as of right now.
They're using a Phillips head screwdriver.
A lot that goes into it. So anyway, that's my report.
Sarah?
Okay, on November 12th, I attended the Arts and Culture Committee meeting. The painting of the crosswalk here was a huge success. They said that there was about 30 to 40 people that participated. The goals group is to increase participation in events such as this, and they've been pretty successful getting people involved so far. They wanted to acknowledge that Dunkin' Donuts donated donut holes and Applebrook Farm donated apples. And the white lines have been painted as well, I noticed. The fundraising campaign through Sustainable CT for the picnic table at the library is underway. As of this meeting, there was $750 of the $1,500 that have been raised, and there's about 20 more days to go. Applications are still being accepted for a poet laureate. The deadline is December 6th to submit your request to ewartsandculture@gmail.com. The group discussed possibly holding an origami class and maybe doing another open mic night in April. On November 13th, I attended the Police Commission meeting. I would like to extend my congratulations to Derek Lieb on his recent promotion to lieutenant. Lieutenant Lieb has been with the police department here in town for 13 years, and he continues to grow in his role at the PD. His hard work and commitment to learning, training, and building on his skills make him an asset to our police force and our community. I'd also like to acknowledge Sergeant Julia Knowles, who also has a bright future ahead. I'd like to extend my condolences to the Manette family on the passing of Jack Manette. Jack was very active in town politics for years, serving on the Police Commission and Board of Finance. My thoughts are with his family, and everything else has been mentioned.
His memorial service is going to be this Saturday at 10
Yes.
o'clock in Hartford.
Yeah,
If anybody's interested.
Holy Trinity Church.
Keith?
Everything's been covered, but I would have.
We are going to have an executive session. It will include Ruth Ann Calabrese and Attorney Brian McCann. There will be one vote that will happen after we come out.
Do we just have another public?
Oh, yes. Actually, that's fine because we have another 6 minutes to go. So this is the second public participation. If there's anything anybody in the public would like to say, you're welcome to address the board. Please state your name and then your business. So there's nobody online, so it'll just be the folks in the room.
Oh. Yeah.
So I'll just take liberty here saying like the first recording is not going to be posted online. So Sabo, I hope you got whatever you need because I am not posting that on YouTube. We'll get banned.
Bad for us.
Is there anybody who would like to address the members of the board?
I just, because she brought up Jack Minette, I don't know if people are aware, but, Jody Rowell passed away, our previous governor. So service will be pending.
Hearing none, I'd ask for a motion to go into executive session to include Ruth Calabrese and Brian McCann.
Move that we go into executive session,
Is there a second?
maybe.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? We are in executive session at 8:25. All right, it's 8:50. We are out of executive session. We'll now return to the call of the agenda and take up agenda item 9D. Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we authorize the first selectman to sign the East Windsor mitigation plan, project number 83818.24 with VHB. Guess it's just VHB.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made by Alan, seconded by Sarah. Any discussion?
Could we amend the motion to include that we're specifically waiving competitive bidding on account of that the cost is being paid for by the owner and that also time is of the essence because it's a Superior Court enforcement action.
I'll take that.
Sarah?
Sure.
All in favor of the amended motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. With no further business to come before the Board of Selectmen, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Is there a second?
Okay.
All in favor? We are adjourned at 8:51.